In this video, you're going to learn how to create this beautiful web design website using Elementor and how to make this website responsive. Now, this design was created by Akhilesh, so I want to give him a huge shout out. He actually creates designs for my agency. So if you guys need any designs for your agency clients, anything like that, go ahead and contact him. I'll have a link to his websites. So definitely check that out and you can actually see his work, and he does amazing work. He's definitely helped out my agency a lot. Now, this is a design that we're going to be creating here. I just love how it came out on Elementor. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to create this. And I'm also going to be giving you the Figma template as well, so you guys can download it, check it out. Now, this took me quite a bit of time. I think it took me like 3 hours to record this video. So please like this video. It will definitely be greatly appreciated for all the hard work that I put into this video. And it is a great one. You guys are going to love it. I pretty much go through everything in creating this Elementor design here and how I would go about building my websites for my clients. And I kind of give you guys a standpoint as a developer, because I'm also a developer as well. And a designer, of course. So it's definitely a great video and you guys don't want to miss it. Check it out. It's very long, but it is going to be worth it if you watch all of it. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos just like this one. Now, before I forget, all the files will be down in the description so you guys can download them and follow along. All of the images and the icons and everything will be in the description, except for the template of this design that will be on my Patreon, and you guys can check that out there. So without further ado, here's the video and I hope you guys really enjoy. So before I go ahead and start building the website on Elementor, I want to go over the Figma design that Akhilesh created. And if you guys haven't checked him out already, I'm pretty sure I mentioned him in the introduction to this video. He designed this website right here, this template for us, and this is what we're going to be building on Elementor. Here's his website. I will also link it down in the description as well so you guys can check it out. But just huge shout out to him for creating this template for us, and so you guys can go ahead and create this website on your own. All these images are stock images, so don't worry, you should be fine. And you can just follow along and create this stunning website with me here. So now let's go ahead and hop on over to Elementor. So make sure that you have a blank Elementor page created. I'm currently using the Hello theme. That is a theme that I always recommend you use, especially since we're starting from scratch here. So before we start building, we're going to go over some settings. So the first one is over here at the bottom left. Click on your gear icon, and we're going to hide the title. And the page layout is going to be set to canvas for now. Now we are going to be creating a header, but that's going to be towards the end of the video, and a footer as well. All right. So we still have some more settings to set up here. So before I even start on building a project on Elementor, I always like to configure my my site settings. So go into your site settings, and we're going to add our global colors. That's the first one that we're going to deal with right now. So I'm going to grab the colors off of my template that I have here, off of my design, I should say. And let's see, my primary color is going to be black. And we're going to be using this black right here. You can go ahead and pause the video and just grab this black right here. And then our secondary color is going to be, let's see here. Okay, so secondary color is going to be this light gray. So let's go ahead and add this light gray for our secondary color. And then our text is also going to be this black here that we're using. Now our accent color is going to be that orange color that you saw on the design. And that's pretty much it for now. Now we may adjust these later on, but we'll leave it as is. So now let's go ahead and go back, and let's go into our global fonts. Now we have our primary, our secondary, our text, and our accent. So our primary is going to be, see here. Now the primary one that we're going to be using honestly the most is going to be this size right here. So first of all, we're going to use the font that we're going to use is Montserrat. So go ahead and just type that in. Montserrat. Okay, so choose that one there. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. And then the font size that we're going to choose for this one is going to be 40. Actually, you know what? No, it's not going to be 40. Let's see here. It's going to be 35, or let's do 30 for now, and then we may adjust this depending on how it looks with our compared to our design that we have on Figma. And we're going to set this to bold. And let's add our line height. We'll have to go back and see how that looks, but we'll definitely adjust this later on. And then our secondary. See here. Okay, so our secondary can be this text here. So we're going to be doing Montserrat as well again. And we're going to do semi-bold. Semi-bold, I believe, because there's no semi-bold on here. Let's try 700, and we may adjust that later on. And then let's do 20 for that. And we'll just align height accordingly. And actually on the primary, let's make sure that we set our transform to capitalized. And then our text, let me look at our text here. It's going to also be Montserrat. And we're going to be doing medium. So let's go ahead and type that in. Montserrat. And let's do about 500. And the text that we have set up there is probably going to be 15. And we'll just align height accordingly later on. And the text here is also going to be Montserrat as well. Or sorry, for the accent. So let's type in Montserrat and let's grab that there. And this one will be 15. This is going to be for the buttons. And let's set this up to medium. So let's do 600 there. Make sure this is set to capitalized. Or actually, you know what? It seems like we're going to be doing uppercase for our buttons. So let's set that to uppercase, and we'll just align height later if we need to. Okay. So now let's go back here. So our global colors are set up, our global fonts. Now we're not going to be, we don't really need to adjust our theme style right now. Header and footer are fine. Site identity, that should be good. We actually don't need this, but I'm just going to remove that anyway. Not really that big a deal. The other one is, I believe, layout is what I always like to go into. So I like to always have it at 1140, and the widget spacing can be 20, or we can just remove it. But I'm going to leave it as is for now. Our breakpoints are fine. And let's see here. Okay, so it seems like everything is set up there. Now let's go ahead and click update. And let's go back. Now we may adjust these moving forward just in case, but we'll see how that goes. So now let's start on the first section here. So go ahead and add a section with just one column. And grab your heading. And then go into, make sure that it's set to the center. And actually, let's add some spacing to this section. So click on your section. And then I know that we could go ahead and adjust the height and give it a minimum height, but we are also going to be adding a header at the top. So we're going to need more spacing at the top than the bottom. So that's why I'm just gonna go with adding some padding. So go on your section, go to advanced, and then go into the padding and make sure you click this so it's not all grouped together. And let's make the top 150 and the bottom 100. Or the bottom can be 80, I was thinking as well. But we may adjust that later on. Now, I know that we did already adjust our default styles here. But the thing is, what I noticed is that the first headline is going to have a different size compared to the rest of the headlines throughout the website. So that's why I'm going to make this headline for the first section unique, at least the sizing, because we're not really going to use that same sizing for the heading on the rest of the other headlines that we have throughout the design. So this one will be a little bit different. And we are going to be setting this up to 45 instead. And now grab the text from the design, or you can just type this in however you would want. I'm probably going to share the design with you guys down in the description. So if you guys do have Figma, Figma is free. So you guys can download it and just open up the design and just follow along and copy the text if that's what you want to do. Okay, so we're going to add a break to this. So web design and development. And right after development, we're going to add a break. So we're just going to click enter right after development. There we go. And we're going to remove the spacing actually. So let's make sure that we remove that spacing and just add that break right there. And what that's going to do for us is it's going to add a BR right here. Okay, now we could go and add it ourselves, but I like that Elementor does that for us. The whole point of using Elementor is so then we don't have to code at all. Now I am a programmer, but I use Elementor strictly just not to code. I would rather not code, but if I have to, I will. Now, make sure that you select your heading. And so it seems like we need to add some line height to this, but instead of doing it from here, I'm actually going to be doing it from my global site settings. So I'm going to go into my site settings, go into global fonts, and I'm going to start to adjust this in here. I know that I didn't do this earlier, but that's just because I couldn't see the line height because I didn't have a headline or anything. Now, let me make the adjustment right here. So I believe this one would be my primary. Now I'm wondering why it's not adjusting right now. It's kind of strange because I know we're not using, is this a secondary? No. So I know for a fact. So for some reason, we're not seeing this in action, but I'm just going to set this up to maybe for a line height. Let's actually do EM instead. I usually like to do EM, and I usually set this up to 1.5. So we'll see how this looks. Now, for some reason, it's not showing me how it should look, but that's actually being very strange. So I'm kind of wondering why it's not working properly, but see, so 1.5 is right there. So let's just set this up where I need to, and then we'll go ahead and make the proper adjustments to the global font. So I'm thinking might be 1.2. Or does that look a little bit too much? Okay, so that looks like it will work. So we're going to do 1.3, and I'm going to remove this for now. And then I'm going to go back to my global font here, go into site settings, go into global fonts, and let's set this up to 1.3 instead. There we go. Now let's go ahead and click update. Exit out of this. For some reason, it's not doing it, but we're going to just set it up here. And then we're going to go back here and set it to 45. There we go. So now it should be all set. It's working good now. So let's go in and add a text editor widget. And let's just grab our text that we have here. So we do have some lorem ipsum text for this. It's not really that important for a description. I'm sure you guys can come up with a description that you guys may want to add for your website if you're actually building this for your agency. So let's add that there. And let's go into style and let's center this. Now this should already be set up because we did set up the font earlier. So that's working great. Now the only thing that we do have here, and it is something, so we can go into custom and actually set this up to the proper width that we want. And let's go in here to our column and go into horizontal alignment, and let's set this up to the center. So then this could be adjusted to the center. Instead of adding a column or an inner column and then setting up the width, we can actually just go in here into the width and set that up. Now I know Elementor is coming out with their containers update pretty soon, or else I would be building this with the containers because I feel like that is so much easier, at least for a developer standpoint. Just because I've used Flexbox and also Grid, but we're mainly going to be using a Flexbox with the containers, which is fine. But since the update hasn't came out yet, and this video is already pre-recorded, I just wanted to get this released. So, and we don't know really when the containers update is going to come out anyway. We have no exact timeline on that. So let's keep adjusting this here. And it seems that we can maybe, on our design, we have it set, at least the width set up to about this, to about 50% from what I'm seeing here. But it might be a little bit longer. Let's try to set it up like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to look really similar. That's what we're trying to get here. So now we're gonna add another title here, some more text, and it's gonna be under this one, and it's gonna be this here. Now I could have added another text widget, but I'm not gonna do that. So now that's looking fine there. Now if we wanted to, we could bold this because I am seeing on the design that it is a little bit bold, but I don't. Actually, that works. You know what? That can work. Let's leave it at how that looks. It actually doesn't look too bad. So now let's grab a button and let's go ahead and set this up to the center. And let's grab our text that we're going to use. And it's going to be called Get to Know Us. There we go. Now I would, let me see if I can set up the font for this. Because I know I did already set it up, but I want to set up the weight actually. I think we were going to make that a little bit more skinnier. So we were going to use 300. So let me completely set up the button font and then I can go ahead and make those global adjustments. So 300 uppercase. The sizing actually seems to be good on that. So that's great. So let's go ahead and just make those adjustments really quick. I'm going to go into my site settings, go back into global fonts and our accent. Let's set that up to 300. So that's perfect. And another thing we can do is on our theme style, we can actually set up our buttons. So let's go ahead and adjust that and just adjust our buttons, just so then we don't have to keep creating the same style for the button. Kind of annoying. So go into your theme style, and like I said, go into your buttons, and then we're going to set this to 100 for the border radius, and let's add some padding to this. So let's do I wish that Elementor had it so then we can set up the width for the button and we don't have to add padding, but I think they added it once and then they removed the feature. It's very strange. But anyway, let's add some padding to the left. Will be okay. So let's unselect this, and from each side let's do about 40 because now I'm seeing it's not even that long anyway. So set it up to 40, and then the bottom we can do, let's try 20 and see how that looks. Okay, so maybe 15 because it's not really replicating our design that we have here. And we may shrink the text a little bit. So let's adjust our font for our button because I may want to make that smaller. And on our accent, let's set that up maybe to about 13. I know that we can't see the adjustment yet, but we will right now. So let's add another button. Or you know what? We don't even need to do this. It's just select our button and let's go in here and select our accent. There we go. Okay, so that seems to replicate our website a little more. All right, so let's add some spacing to this. I know that this widget here already has some spacing, but we're gonna add a little more and we're gonna do it to our button. So click on your button, go into advanced, and let's add some margin from the top, I believe. And let's do about 10. Now the spacing from our heading to our text here is fine, I believe. Yeah, so it looks to be actually pretty accurate. Maybe we need to bring it up a little bit. So maybe we can do a negative a little bit. Maybe a negative, not too much. Maybe a -7 around there, or -10 will be fine. Okay. So we kind of want to make that almost pixel perfect, but I mean, at least pretty close to it. We're not gonna make it pixel perfect, to be honest, but something very close is always the best. And as long as you have a great eye for the detail and the design, that is what matters the most, and that's what clients are gonna love, right? Especially the ones that really notice it. And the ones that usually notice it are the ones that always pay you a lot more. And that's what always sets you apart from different designers, is the little things. So those things are always super important. So now we need to add our logos. So at an intersection, I wish we had containers and I could just add a container, but we're gonna add an intersection for now. And then within our intersection, we're gonna actually make this a lot smaller, our column a lot smaller. We'll do about 500. And actually, when you know what, let's do 600. And we'll adjust that as we go. I may, you know what, do 700. There we go. That seems a little more accurate from the design. And I've already added these images onto the website, but I will have them down in the description so you guys can grab any images that you need. And let's add our first image, which is going to be the WordPress logo. Now, very important that we set that to inline. So go to advanced on your image and set that to inline. But we're actually going to shrink this a little bit. So let's do this now, because I do remember. We're going to have to go to full width, or sorry, go into custom, and then we're going to set this to, I believe, 10. So to set that up to 10%, and just honestly, you can just duplicate that and then just add the next image, which will be the Elementor logo, and then duplicate this again. And let's add the XD logo. Duplicate this again. Let's add the JS logo. And duplicate this one more time. And we'll add the PHP logo. Alrighty. Now click on your column, on your horizontal alignment. Set this to space between. There we go. Now go back into your intersection, and let's adjust the width of this actually a little bit. Instead of 700, let's bring this down a little bit more. I hate that it just shrinks. It shrinks it a little bit. I don't know why it's doing that. Very strange. It should just, instead of shrinking it, it should shrink the spacing on this. But I don't know why it's doing that. I think it's glitching out because I don't know if it's supposed to be doing that. But I will just adjust that later on a little bit more. So let's adjust this, maybe have it like this, and let's make it inline instead. See, inline is really big, so we may just need to make this a little bit bigger. Maybe something like that. And let's go ahead and copy the style and then paste it to the rest of them. There we go. So we ended up doing 12 for the width, and then for the custom width, and then just we pasted it to the rest of them. And I think that looks a little more accurate to our design here that we have. So now let's click on our section and let's add some spacing above it. So go into advanced, and on your margin, Now we could add it obviously with padding, but I'm going to do margin instead. And let's try to do maybe 20. Seems that we're going to have to do 40 actually. All right, perfect. Now, if for some reason you get a design and obviously most of the time you go with how the designer has the spacing, but what I actually do is the designs sometimes don't really tell you the exact spacing that you want to be using for everything. You just want to look at it and have something similar and make sure that the spacing is consistent throughout the website. That's always super important. So for this section is a little bit unique. The first section of your site, of your homepage or whatever that may be, it's always a little bit unique, right? Because that is the first thing that people see. So the spacing might be a little bit different on that. It's not always the exact same, right? But every other section will most likely have the same spacing, and you want to be pretty consistent with the spacing all around, even the main section that you have here. But you want it to look at least pretty similar to the main design though. Especially if your client is the one that got the design and got that one approved. But if you created the mock-up for your client and your client approved it, well, you know what's best for your client because they approved that design and they already liked it, right? So now let's go ahead and just continue on here. So click on your section and we need to add that background image. And let's add that in here. Now I uploaded it as an SVG just because I felt like the background image that I had as a PNG was way too large. I think it was 1 megabyte, which is ridiculous. So I ended up just creating it into a PNG, which is something that I recommend when your file size for the image is huge, right? So if you can. So now let's insert it to the media and let's adjust the positioning to the center, remove, no repeat. And the final thing that we need, the magic here, is a cover. There we go. And there we have it. Now what we could do, which I did not even do, is we could add a little fixed position and maybe see if that looks pretty cool, but we will have to try that out in a bit here once we add some more sections. But we'll go ahead and come back to that. Now I feel like the video is going to be really long, to be honest, but it is going to be a very in-depth video, as you can see. But the rest of the sections should probably go a little bit faster. So this one is probably the one that took the longest, and I'm going to try to go a little bit faster here, but I don't want to be going too fast. So now let's add the section. Make sure it's set to 1 column. And our spacing for the section is going to be 50 from the top. And that's usually what I like to do with my websites, is 50 from the top and 50 from the bottom. I used to do 100 from the top, but and 100 from the bottom, but I just started to do 50. Or you can do 80. It just depends, but I just going to try 50 for now. 50 always works great on mobile as well. So let's add our title here. Set this to the middle. Copy our text. Now we do need to change the color to this. So we'll need to add a little bit of CSS, or we can just add it inline. I don't think we need to add any CSS, honestly. We'll just add some inline HTML and add some stylizing to that to change the color of projects. So right after, let me see this actually. Yeah, right after past, we're gonna add a let's add a span tag, and let's close the span tag, and let's add an ending span tag, and then our first span tag right after span and before the arrow here, we're gonna go ahead and add a style equals some quotes here, and then in between those quotes, we're gonna add color, colon, and now the color that we want to add. So this could be red, whatever that would be, but it's going to be our main color here. I wish Elementor made it easy for us to do this without adding any inline HTML, but for some reason they really don't. Unless they do, you know, tell me in the comments if they do, but from what I saw, they just have italic, bold. I wish they had something where you could just do this and then select color or whatever that may be, but for some reason they don't have that option yet. But I mean, writing inline CSS, I don't really mind it, but for people that don't know how to code and don't know how to do that, it could probably be a pain, right? So actually what we're gonna do is, instead of the span, since we do need a, you know what, never mind, because we actually need to drop it right here. So let's go right after view hour. Let's go ahead and add a break here, add a BR, and let's remove the spacing that we have there and set it up like this. Now, I feel like this needs to be a little bit bigger and we need to adjust some things here. So that's what we're gonna do. And then once we have the settings set up for this, we'll set it up for the global. So let's do 35 instead. And you know what, the spacing is actually great now. We'll leave the line height the same. Let's see if we did. Yeah, I think 35 will do it. Let's stick with 35. Let's go back here to our site settings, go into global fonts and set that to 35 instead. It's our primary one because we're going to be using this heading throughout pretty much every section after this. So let's click update. Okay, and then exit out of this and click on your text there, your heading, and then set this up to the global, so we always have it set up to the global. So if we change anything in the global, it would actually reflect our, you know, our design here, and we don't have to go back and do that. See, like, what if the client doesn't like the font and we have to go back and change the font, and then we have to do it for every single text element, which isn't efficient. I always like to be efficient when I'm building websites, right? So the less time, the better. So now let's change the background to the section here to a gray, and we actually do need to add this color into our colors, which is something that I forgot to add. So let's go to our background type and let's add this color in, and let's also add it to our global colors, and we'll call it gray background or something. There we go. Great. Okay, now that's looking a lot better. And then let's add our projects now. Now, before we create our projects here, just to let you guys know, I'm not creating these dynamically. I highly recommend that you create your projects dynamically. And what I mean by that is that it would be better to add your projects like how you would add a post. For instance, whenever you add a post, you add all the information and then you just have it load into a specific list or section using the, you can even use the post widget, for instance, right? We can add that in and we can have it set up like if it's a post widget, and we can showcase all of the projects just like posts. And it's very easy to do that, but I'm just not going to do it in this video because I feel like it's going to be a lot longer. But maybe I can create a video in the future going over that. But in case you do want to create that, the plugins that you need to use are Advanced Custom Skins, Custom Post Type UI, and LE Custom Skins. Now, if you do want to find a quick tutorial on that, Paul from WP Totes or Tutorials, he has tons of videos on this topic, and I highly recommend that you check out his channel. That is where you can learn how to do this and create your own custom design for your projects, so you can list out your project. I know Elementor is going to come up with a feature like that in the future, but sadly they don't have that yet. but hopefully they get to that soon. So for right now, we're just going to create it very statically. We're just going to use our columns and create it. It's not going to be dynamic or anything like that. Our posts, whenever we do our posts more towards the bottom, we can create that, and that can be dynamic. So let's go ahead and just continue on here. So I'm going to add an intersection, and within our intersection, we're going to have 3 columns. And let's add our elements in here. So we're going to add an image, and we're going to add a title. And then we're going to add a description and a button, but the button's just going to be a text. And we'll adjust that later on. So now let's adjust the background to this column. So click on your column in your intersection, go into style, and let's make this white. And let's go into advanced, and on your margin, from the right side, we're going to do 10 for now. We may adjust this later on, do 10. And then our inner spacing, we'll actually adjust that right now. So we'll do about, do about 20. And let's add our images in here. Now we'll have these down in the description, so you guys can use these as well. And these are just websites. This one is this particular design is just our website that we're working on right now. So let's change the text, and we're gonna call this web agency site or something. Let's just call this web agency. And let's adjust the font here. Now we did not create this one globally because this one is a little bit more unique. So we'll have to create this one on here, and then we'll just copy the style throughout anyway. So let's shrink the text. The bold, we'll set this to maybe 600 instead. And we will set this up to 20. And then the text here. Yeah, the text will definitely need to adjust that. So we're going to use a gray color for the text. So let's go into style, and let's use this gray color here. Just pause the video and then just use it. It's just in case, it's a 8C8C8F. For those of you that just want to type it in. Okay. And let's just use the text that we have from our website. Now, we're not really gonna be adjusting this description too much. We're probably gonna be using the same description and the same title throughout each column here. So let's add our button, and our button's just gonna say learn more, or it could say view project, learn more, whatever that may be, right? So let's shrink this. Let's shrink this to about 15, and let's make this 500. Let's change the text and do the accent. And we can even make this underline, just because I feel like that is what we're doing with the design. See if we can just do that here. Make that underline. Oops, that crosses it out for some reason. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, so that works. We just need to adjust the spacing on this. So I don't think there's a column gap to this. No, there's. All right. So anyway, let's do padding. So from the bottom, we're gonna do a negative just to bring this. Nope, that's not gonna work. So let's do margin actually. Sorry about that. Set that up to how it was. And from the bottom, we'll just remove some of that spacing. There we go. I know that we did set up our global spacing, but I'm not gonna adjust that for now. That's fine. Maybe we shouldn't really have global spacing for our elements, but I'm gonna leave it as is. It is up to you to switch. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about the site settings in here. And in your layout, you can actually adjust that. It should be right here, widget spacing. So actually, is that gonna, yeah, see that? But that just kind of ruins everything else. So that's why you kind of just want to leave it as is for now. And we're just gonna do discard. There we go. So let's go on and keep adjusting this. So for our spacing, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. So let's do about 10, -10 from the bottom for this one. I think that will work. And you know what? Instead of doing it from that one, let's actually do it to our text, our description here instead. There we go. Let's do -10. It's actually better. Oops. -10. All right. Now this looks great. And from what I'm seeing on here, though, is that this seems to have a shadow. We're going to go into border and let's try to add a shadow. Now, usually what I do with my shadows is I bring the color all the way down, at least opacity. I bring that down to about right here. And then I just tend to just adjust the spread a little bit. You see how now we can't see it, right? But if we bring it out, we can see it a little bit. Oops, brings out a lot more. You don't want to bring it out too much. So maybe just leave it at 0 is fine. And the blur, I like to just leave it where it's at. Yeah, it kind of pops out a little bit, but let's smooth out the edges, which is something I didn't do. So we're just going to do 5 for the edges. We don't want to smooth them out that much. But we just want to make it a little bit more noticeable. So let's maybe adjust this a little bit more. And let's bring out the spread a little bit. And maybe bring down the blur. If this will, oh yeah, I mean, let's make the blur a little bit more, pop out a little more. And let's leave the blur at 30. I'm just adjusting this, guys, so just bear with me. And then once I get the right settings for this, you guys can go ahead and do it anyway. I'm just checking, is this the right gray? Let me double check this gray, by the way. Okay. It looks to be the right gray, but for some reason it looks different on the design. But I guess this is the right gray that we're going to be using. Yeah, so we're going to go with this for now. I think this shadow effect is good. So just use this exact shadow effect, guys. So we're going to do 0, 0, 30, -7. And bring down the transparency to about here. Okay. So now let's just duplicate this, and we're gonna remove the empty columns here. And there we have it. And we'll adjust the spacing here on top right now. So now let's replace this image here. Let's use this one. And then let's use this one for that one. Now we do need to adjust the height on this. I know that's not the exact same height, so let's go into style, and we can actually do it through here, which is pretty cool. Do about this. Just make sure that it kind of lines up at least somewhat close to it. And I think this one can be lined up as well. Somewhat. There we go. Okay, so this looks pretty close. I know that it kind of looks weird since we have that spacing here, right? It kind of doesn't really work that well. So maybe we can add a background to this. No, because then it's already set on this here. Never mind. So I'm sure you guys we'll just leave it as this, how it is now. I'm sure you guys can just use a different image for this for the website. You guys will probably have your different portfolio anyway. So that's just how I'm gonna leave it for now. And we'll leave it at web agency. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. So this is just dummy data anyway, dummy text, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, let's click on our intersection and let's add some margin to this. So let's do about 30 from the top. And I know it ended up setting it to the bottom as well, so let's actually remove that. Just uncheck this and then only set it to the top. And then the spacing, we're actually going to add a little more spacing. I thought that 50 was going to work, but it actually doesn't. So, and that's fine. Like I said, sometimes we can adjust the spacing as long as it's just consistent throughout the website. So let's do Sometimes I like to do 80, honestly. And it looks like 80 is going to work for us. Yeah, 80 is going to work. It will goes more with the design spacing. Let me check this spacing here. I think we want to set this to 80. Well, okay, fine. You know what, guys? I just feel like this is too much spacing for some reason. So let's do 70 instead, even 60. Well, yeah, 60 is better. So let's do 60 just because there's a little more spacing right here. See that? So that just makes more sense. All right, so now let's just go into the next section here. And this one, I don't know if I want to do intersections. See, this is where if we had containers, so much better. But I mean, realistically, the way to actually do it whenever you're developing a website is just having one main section that takes care of everything inside of it, right? So I don't want to split this one into 3 sections. I know that you're probably looking at the design. We have stunning modern designs. If you're looking at the mockup, you would know easy to manage websites and responsive web design. So we have this within all one section. So I know I could split this within 3 sections, but if you're a developer and you're actually developing a website, you don't do that. You just add it all within one section. You have your main section, and then inside of that, you have, you know, your other divs, and then you nest that with, you know, more divs, right? So we're just gonna do this how it's supposed to be developed. So we're just gonna use one section, and whenever containers comes out, it'll make more sense to do it like this anyway. So we're basically just gonna have 3 intersections, which would be just like having 3 containers, right? So, but you know what? Within each intersection or container, you would have 2 columns in there. So we're gonna do it this way, and we're gonna duplicate this one and duplicate this one. I mean, honestly, we don't need to do that. Let's just work with one for right now. Let's add some spacing to our main section here. Let's do 80 from the top and 80 from the bottom. Make sure it's your padding, your margin. I always like to use padding instead of margin. I notice that there are a lot of people that would rather do margin. Sometimes I do margin when it comes to certain things. When it comes to like something like this, for instance, my section, right? I don't like to have it. I guess I don't like to have it within my intersection. I usually just do it. I usually add the margin to intersections, if that makes any sense. So anyway, let's just continue on here. Let's first add some text here. So let's add a heading. And let's add our image now. I believe it's this image here. And let's grab our text. Now, instead of just, you know, going and, you know, rewriting this markup HTML here, I'm just going to copy it over here. And honestly, I'm just going to change it. So it'd just be much easier if I do it this way instead of writing out the markup that I did again. It's all about efficiency. Doing things faster is always the best. Alrighty, and we're gonna remove the break here that we have. There we go. And we're actually gonna add the break in here. So let's remove the span. Just edit. No, wait. No, we're gonna have to leave it. So let's just add the BR in here. I'll bring it down. I mean, we could have just for those of you that don't really code that much, you could have just, you know, done that, and that would have worked out anyway. So that's fine. But I'm wondering why the spacing is off here right now. I know that we did add the spacing to this already. Oh, there we go. So for some reason, I'm telling you, Elementor can sometimes glitch out like that, right? These global styles are pretty important in Elementor. They have to work. That's the whole point of setting them up, right? So then we don't have to go back and do the same thing again. That's why I would, you know, I love to code sometimes, right? Because once you do it once, you don't really need to do that style again. But and I'm hoping Elementor implements more features like that. Alrighty. So now let's add a list. Oops, there we go. And it seems that we're using circles for this. Now I could just upload the SVG for the circle, but there's really no need for that because I can just go to the icon library and just find a circle and just use this circle here, and that works perfectly. So now let's remove the rest of these, and we're probably just going to duplicate it, but I'm going to add at least some of them, and then we'll start to style, right? So let's add another one here, just so then we can see the style and we can adjust some spacing to this, and then I will add the rest right after this one. Alrighty. So now let's adjust the font and the style here. So go into your, actually let's add some spacing to this for right now. Do about 5. And then let's grab some of the text here. Grab that, paste that right in here. I think we're using this already, are we? No, we're not. Okay. So this might be a different color for the text. And let's add this actually. Let's add this color and let's call this list color, list text color. All right, perfect. And we actually have another color to add for the bullet points as well. So go to your icon and change it to this color here. It's 5DE0D8. And let's save this color and let's call this circle or circle list color, something like that. Probably would have been better. Probably would have been better just to call it bullet color, bullet point color, but I'm just gonna call it this. And this color, for instance, in case you can't see it for some reason, it's 37, 37, 37. And on my design, this text is kind of bold. So we're gonna have to make that a little bit bold, but we'll see how it looks. So that seems to be at least a decent color, and we may just make this a little bit bigger. Actually, it looks to be a lot bigger, but we don't want it that big. So let's just do 17. And we'll maybe adjust that later on. So now maybe I might speed up this part of the video. If I don't, please bear with me if I don't speed it up. But I'm just gonna add the rest of the text here to this. Or if honestly guys, if I don't speed it up, just skip to this until I get done. Just do me that favor, honestly. If I forget to speed through this. So all I'm gonna do is just duplicate it, add the next one, duplicate it, and then add the next text. Okay, so now it looks like I have all of that added to my bullet points. And I don't really need to adjust this. This seems to be fine how it is, so I'm just gonna leave it 50-50 with the spacing for each column. And let's duplicate this section here. And then let's add some spacing and let's do margin. Like I said, for my inner columns, I always add a margin for the spacing. Just keep that in mind. So let's do about 30. No, let's do definitely. We're gonna have to do 50 for this for sure. Yeah, 50 is a lot better. And we're gonna switch these images around and then change the image. We're gonna do this one here, and we're gonna obviously add some spacing to that in a bit. And let's remove this, and we're actually gonna be using some text. So go into your text editor, element, and drag that in. And we're gonna grab some of this lorem ipsum text that we have here. Now this doesn't have to say stunning modern design. You could put about us or whatever, but this is just what I added right now. Obviously the content can be changed, and that is always entirely up to you. So something that I like to do is whenever we switch things around, you notice the spacing is a little off, right? There's more spacing here for this one. So what I do is I'll just bring this one out a little more, right? Bring this one maybe to about 45 and have that one at, let's see, have it 45 to 55 around there. Let's see, bam. And then I just go to my second column here and I add some spacing from the left side, and we're actually going to do padding. So we're going to do about 30. Let's see how 30 works. Nope, definitely not spacing that we need. So we're going to do 50 actually. Okay, so 50 seems to be fine. There we go, that works. Now I know that this doesn't align up properly, and I know that usually we like things to align up. Now we could bring this more over here to line it up, but I'm not going to do that. So what we could do is just go into our section. Now this is optional. I know that some people do this where we go ahead and just set it to the middle. And we could do this. This isn't too bad of an idea. I mean, it does line up here with this one, so, and it does tend to work. It does seem like we have some more spacing, but I feel like this is how it's supposed to be, you know? It's supposed to be aligned right to the image at the top here. But that is debatable, so keep that in mind. I'm going to leave it as is for now. Maybe we can add some more lorem ipsum text. I mean, since we are kind of working with the mockup anyway, we could really just do whatever we want. You know, the client, obviously the client isn't going to have this exact text, but you can adjust the line height accordingly to that as well. So what we could have done is just change the line height to this a little bit, which is actually not a bad idea. And then make it fit a little bit, but I don't want to adjust the line height too much, right? So I'm going to leave it as is anyway. I feel like how it is by default is fine anyway. Actually, this isn't too bad either. So yeah, let's change that globally for the line height actually. Let me just double check this that it is set like that, because it could already be set and I might have just changed it. Okay. So I usually like to do EM for this. So let's just find out the right EM for this. And that looks closer to the design. So let's do 1.7. Go back into my site settings. And let's set that to 1.7 from what we saw. Global fonts, text here, and EM 1.7 for that. And now let's update this. There we go. And let's make sure we set it to the text. All right, now that works. I'm not gonna add any more text, that's fine. So let's duplicate this one now. Which these around, now these can be 50-50, right? So I believe these can be, you know what? Let's leave them at 50-50 and let's find out. Let's really figure it out right now. There we go, 50-50. So let's remove the spacing here that we have on the left side. We might have to add some spacing on the other side, so let's just do that now. So let's do 50. Oopsie daisy. Let's make sure we set that to pixels and then 50 from the right. And let's change the text here above to what we need to change it to. So it's going to be responsive is the first one. You know what? Let me just add that in here. Such a pain that Elementor does not have this feature though. So we have to go ahead and just type it in ourselves, but basically we're just adding a color to that. So we're doing style equals bullet points and then color. Color is gonna be colons, and we're gonna grab that color that we've been using throughout the website. We're gonna end the span tag, so we're gonna do span, end it, and we're gonna grab the color here. Oops, let's just grab it from here. Let's paste it right in here. There we go. I Yeah, let me remove the span tag and add it and end it right after responsive instead of design. There we go. Perfect. There we have it. And we will definitely shrink the image a little bit. So let's definitely shrink that image a little bit. We might actually want to shrink this one so it kind of works out for all of them, but let's change out the image first and let's see what happens. So we're going to use this image here. Oh, okay, there we go. This image is a little bit smaller, so it definitely works. And we're going to leave it as is, but you could shrink it. I mean, it is an option, but to shrink it, right? It's up to you. Could shrink it a little bit. I might just do that because that does seem a little bit more appropriate. I know that the design may not have that spacing or the images may not be that strength, but like I said, it's always up to you. As a builder, developer, whatever you want to call yourself, designer. It's up to you're the one with the eye. Sometimes the builder, the developer can make those corrections, but you always want to communicate with the designer and make sure that it's set up how it's supposed to according to the client as well. But you always can make those adjustments just in case. There we go. So it's not too bad. The image does seem like it's a little bit smaller, but it still works. Maybe we can actually shift this one over a little bit. But I believe this is 50-50 as well, yeah, so. Maybe we can shrink this a little bit more. But I like that it just fits perfectly and aligns properly with that. So it's one of those things, But let's leave it like that. We'll leave it at 95. It's not too bad. All right. So now let's add our next section. Wonder if this video is going to be like 2 hours. This will probably be my longest video, I'm thinking. Didn't think it would take this long, but here we are. So let's add our next section. And within our section, let's just add one column. And let's add our background image for this. This one will be a little bit faster. And let's add this image. I already compressed it for you guys, so it's not going to be too bad. To make sure that we set it to the center, cover, go over here, add our spacing. We're going to do 80 from the top and 80 from the bottom. Trying to keep that consistent throughout the website. We're going to add an overlay to this, actually. It's going to be this color here. So go into your section, go into style, go into background type, and set your color here. The color, just for then you guys know, is 030720. And then we're going to add some more opacity to this so it looks more like the design. Let's leave it at 0.80. And let's add some text to this. So text. Change out the text right now. We'll add some we'll add a heading and then some text, and then we'll grab, our button should already be set anyway with the right style, I believe, if we've been setting everything properly. Look at that, that's perfect. Let's set that to the center. Change this to get started, so we don't gotta adjust this. Let's just adjust some stylizing to our text here, set that to the center, set that to white. Just our heading here, set that to white. And then set that to the center. There we go. Now I'm going to change the text to this, to the heading. Ready to build something special, ? And let's add some text. Now we may have to adjust the width for this, definitely. So let's do it. And we can pretty much do the same width that we did with this one. We did 53. Probably should have had just do 50 instead. And let's click on this one, go into advanced and set the width, custom width to this, set it to 50. Go into your column here, horizontal alignment, set that to the center. And there we go. There we have it. That's looking great. And now we just need to add some break to this. Line break. Doing here. Oops. I think it is a spacing right here. Yeah, there we go. Now look at this. It's glitching out again, guys. It's just, and then as soon as we go into our style, you see that? It'll adjust. It's just wow, Elementor. Just wow. Always bugs, always bugs. It's a software, you know? I mean, there's always gonna be bugs anyway. I can't complain. I mean, I'm sure whenever I build some applications, there's gonna be some bugs as well. So it happens. All right, so let's add some margin to this button. So let's do about 20, or let's do about 10. Then we follow along with the design here. There we go. So that's looking good. Looking great there. Now let's add our frequently asked questions. Add another section here to one column. Add our spacing again. I wish I could have like settings, I guess, pre-made for each section. That would be great. So then I can go into my settings and then go into site settings and then set up my global settings for my sections. That'd be something amazing, but I don't think we have that yet, right? Layouts? No, we don't. We don't have anything like that yet, but those are the sort of stuff that I would want, right? Efficiency is always better, you know? The most efficient way to build our websites, the quickest way, right? That's why, like I said, I like building things just with code because it's already set up for us, you know, it's using the same tags and the spacing is already set because, you know, they're using the same class and stuff and we don't got to do things over and over again, right? But this is still great, guys. If you don't know how to code yet, definitely the way to go. This is how I started, and then eventually I learned how to code. So, I first learned how to use Elementor before I even learned how to code yet. To be honest, I did know markup, I did know CSS and HTML, but I hadn't learned how to program yet. So a couple years ago. So anyway, let's add our heading here. I still love to use Elementor, you know, just because it's super quick. Regardless, it is a lot quicker. But I just feel like they should make it more efficient. That's all. So now let's add, I think they're called spoilers or drop downs. What are they called? Accordion. Wow. Never mind. It's called Accordion. So we're going to add some accordions here. So just grab your accordion element and drag it right in. And look at that. It already has some pre-stylizing, which is great. What exactly I want to see. So now we're just going to add some titles to this. Maybe for the first one, I will add the description. For the rest, I won't because it's not really going to show up anyway. So let's just add that one there. The next one. Akhilesh did a really good job with this design, by the way. He's actually the person I use for my clients. Whenever a client needs a design, I always go to him first. He does some really great designs. Has a really great eye, and that's always what I look for. Okay. So now, it's already looking pretty good, to be honest, guys. We just need to make a little more adjustments, and we can remove these plus icons and these negative icons. We don't really need them, to be honest. So we're gonna remove them there. We're gonna probably add some more spacing to this. So let's see if we can, maybe it's in here. No, where is spacing to this? Is it right here? Border? No, it's a border width. Huh. But anyway, we could, let's adjust the border width a little bit here. Use that color so it's more solid. And the color that we're gonna be using is very similar to the color that is already set up there by default, but we're going to be using this one instead. It's C4, C4, C4. All right. And instead of border width 2, let's do 1 instead. I feel like it's a lot better. I just want to add some more spacing to this. So maybe we can add this within the padding. Yes, we can. So from the top, we will do 20. Yes, 20 will work. And from the bottom, 20. And from each side, on the left side actually, we will do 20 as well. We'll bring that in a little bit. There we go. Oh wow, that isn't what I wanted. I did not want a border all around here. I just wanted it under each accordion. See if I can fix this with some CSS really quick. Okay, so I think I found it. I just got it in here, and we're gonna go ahead and just do border bottom probably or something. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this to 0 so we don't see it. And then we're gonna see if we can adjust this. And we'll see if this works. So we're gonna do border. I think we can do bottom, right? If I'm correct. And then we're gonna do 1 pixel solid black, whatever it may be. We'll maybe change that later on. And so it's not working. Not to worry. Let's just try to do selector. And there we go. Okay, so that seems to be a lot better. And let's just use the color that we're using. So it's going to be C4, C4, C4. So let's just add this color right in there. Let's make sure that we add a hashtag there. And there we have it. Now it's working good. It's like, why can't Elementor just implement those things for us, you know? And why are we having issues with the font? I don't know why the font is really messed up, guys. Kind of being weird right now, right? Oh, it's set to primary. No wonder. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's do secondary, and then maybe we'll make some adjustments here. Okay. So that works. I feel like secondary is definitely a lot better. That definitely works out. And we'll just add some little spacing from the top here. Just a little bit, not a lot. So we'll do a margin, I believe. Margin will be better, honestly, guys. There we go. So that looks very clean. Looks more like our design. And I'm gonna update that. So the next thing that we need to do is just copy this section here, because it's very similar to our blog section. So we're just gonna click paste. And we're gonna remove this because we are gonna be using Elementor's built-in post widget. So go in and grab our text that we're gonna use for this. And we're not gonna be adding any orange text. And we're gonna call this latest from the blog. And we don't really have any blogs added. So what I'm actually going to do, guys, is add some quick blogs, and I'll be right back. So I've added my posts. Now I'm just going to go ahead and search for the post widget. So just type in post into your search box and your elements there, and drag the post widget here. Okay. So from here, we're going to go ahead and just add some stylizing to this. So let's go into style. Our box, change the background to white. Perfect. Our text, we need to definitely adjust that. So let's go into our content here. We'll adjust the spacing here in a bit. So for our typography, I'm going to do black for the text. And then we'll do secondary, I think will work. So just choose secondary for that. We did set that up in the beginning in case you haven't set that up yet. And then we do have dates. So let's remove this part here though. We don't need this. And we cannot have our dates there. So go down to the meta here and meta tags. And let's adjust this here. And we can do text for this. And that color is fine. That color actually works for the date at least. I wonder why there's a spacing here. We maybe need to adjust this within the posts. I think I might have added a spacing there on accident. So let's adjust our text here. Actually, you know what? The text color is not that bad, but Let's actually make our date a little bit smaller though. Let's make that 13 instead. And then see here for our description, we can do maybe 16 and change the color here. Do we have a color that we can use? Let's try this one. Nope, that one is definitely not good. Okay, let's do that color there. It's, you know what, let's make our date. It's a little bit too small. Sorry about that, guys. Let's do 14. I just feel like that was a little small. And let's add some spacing to this. Spacing a little more, and then from the text, let's probably do about, this should be good. All right, and let's adjust or read more here. So let's make that about maybe 500 should be fine. Yeah, 500 will be great. Leave that at 13. And that's great too. Okay. Now let's go back to our box here and let's add some spacing, some padding in between that. So we're gonna probably have to do the same box padding that we did here. I wish we could, let me see if I could copy this and see if that will give it the same stylizing. I don't, will it? No, it won't. Okay. That would be pretty cool if it did though, but go in here and grab, so we did 10, no, we did 20. Okay. So we could do 20 for the spacing here in the box instead of 17. Do 20. And I know for the border width, we did 0. Border radius, we did set that up to 5. And our shadow effect, I forget what we did up here. Like the style and go to border and let's see what we did. So we did it about to here. I'll just actually copy this, honestly. And we did 0, 0, 30, -7. Okay. So let's go in here. We did 0, 0, 30, and -7. There we go. All right, so I think that seems to be pretty good. And let's add some spacing from the top here. Let's do margin. And let's do 20. Yeah, so usually elements I like to add a margin, and then sections I'll add padding. At least when it's like, when it has to do with the spacing. But the inner spacing obviously is always going to be padding about that. So let's do 25. And I think that is a little bit better. There we go. Alrighty. That's looking good. So now let's start on the next section here. I'm actually just going to copy one of these because I don't want to keep redoing these. And let's just delete this. Just add an intersection. And we're just going to have to add this ourselves. So we're going to do this. And then a text editor at the top for the name. For the description, I mean. So let's add our description in here. Bam, let's add the names that we have on here. And we're just going to duplicate this one once we have it done. So the spacing on here is the padding that we're going to do. Let's do 50 because it seems like it's going to be a lot. Oh, okay. Let's make sure we have that all select, all grouped together. Do 50. And let's grab the color that we have here. I think it's a color that, yeah, it should be the color that we're using throughout the website anyway. So let's go and grab this gray and use the secondary gray. Oop, no, it's definitely not that one. This one? Yeah, so it's this one here. Let's do that one. Let's add some padding to this. Or sorry, some margin. Probably just on the right side, to be honest. So let's just do 20. And that should work. And then Go into the border and let's add some border radius. Looks like we're doing more than 5 this time, so we're gonna have to do maybe 10, maybe even 15, because it looks, that's just how the design looks. So that looks fine. The spacing, we need to adjust that spacing at the bottom there. I don't like that, so we're gonna have to just remove that. The text here. Whoa, what is going on here? That is not how it's supposed to do it. Make sure we have that set up properly and it's not doing that. All right, now let's just do, for this one, let's do our secondary. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring it down a little more, so, and it's not gonna be as bold, so we're gonna have to do 600. Yeah, we're gonna have to do at least do 600. And we're gonna have to do this one here. Now what we could do is we could add a little dash right here. That's something that you could do. That's fine, that works too. I know I'm going against the design a little bit, but regardless, I just feel like that's how it should be instead. Because it kind of does go more with the website. But I could be wrong. Let's see. No, that looks to be good. And we might just shrink this text a little bit smaller, actually. Actually, no, let's leave it at this and just increase this one a little bit. There we go. So that looks more like the design now. All right, so now let's grab that image here. And we're gonna grab it and add it to the top there. I'm gonna grab it from my desktop here. So we're having that issue. So basically we just need to upload it within our admin panel. So we'll have to go to media and upload it within the library here. There we go. So now let's see if we can find it on here. Nope, it's not gonna refresh. We have to refresh the entire page. All right, so let's scroll down here. Grab that, shift it to the side. Now, of course, I could go to advanced, set the position to absolute, and try to adjust it. But really no need for that, to be honest. We could just go in here and just adjust it within our margins. So we could do a negative and just bring it to the left side a little bit. And we could even shrink this because it seems like it's not actually that big. It's supposed to be a little smaller. So it's about this size right here. Leave it at 12. And from the top, let's actually bring it up a little bit. That's actually how it's supposed to be. So shift this a little bit more. There we go. So now what we got to do is duplicate this one and then just change out the text a little bit, the other one. And all we're going to do is really just change the name here. There we go. That's fine, that works. Bam. Oops. So let's adjust that padding that we have there. So let's go into advanced. It's actually margin. So let's add it to the left side here. 2020, there we go. Add some spacing. What were we doing for all of these here? I believe we were doing 25. I know we want to leave the spacing consistent, but it's about 20, 25. So let's do 25. There we go. Now we just need to add one last thing, and then we can finally work on the footer and the header, and then work on the mobile version, and we'll be all set. So let's add a intersection. Add some spacing to this one right away. We're definitely gonna need that. This is probably gonna be we're gonna have to do 100 for this one. Yeah, maybe not 100, but at least 80. And let's grab some text here real quick. Paste that right in there. Our description. Let's grab our button that we've been using. and set that to the left side here. Sorry, to the right side. Set this to the middle, click on that column, go to horizontal alignment, set it to this. Oh, sorry, it's actually vertical. What am I doing? Vertical, and now let's change the background here. Add some padding to this actually, first of all. Let's see, we'll do about 40. Fine. And then grab that background that we're using. Now we're just going to be using the same one that we've been using throughout the website. That is fine, that works. And then we're going to use our orange for the overlay finally. Here we go. And we're going to make that a lot more vibrant there. About this size. Let's set this image to the center. Center left. Then their heads are not really closed off there. Maybe top center. Top center left. Yeah, let's leave it at that for now. Fine. Go make sure you're in your intersection. Go back into style. Go into border. And it looks like we're gonna have to do 15 on this one as well. And of course, let's change font to white. Just our bun here. Let's set the color to white, and the text will be black. I'm noticing that it's a little bit more bold on this one. It's kind of strange, but I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. So we're gonna have to make this color a little more bold. So we're gonna have to do at least 500. Then it goes more with the design. There we go. And you know what? It seems like our background overlay, we may need to make that a little darker. Or something like this. There we go, that'll work. Perfect. Did I set this to cover? Let me see. Yeah, so let's set this to cover actually, guys. There we go. Now that's a lot better. All right. Spacing is fine on that. Maybe we can adjust this a little more for the spacing. I mean, from the bottom, maybe don't need that much spacing, and from the top we can bring it up a little bit. Maybe do a -7. All right. So now finally we can work on the header, and then we'll work on the footer. So let's just click update on this. Let's take a look at it just so then we make sure that everything's working properly. The fonts are all looking great, and we don't got to make any adjustments. Hopefully we don't. So hopefully we don't. Okay, that's not bad. We do need to change the spacing though, but like I said, that has to do with just a post. I need to remove that spacing. I might just do it right now. There we go. So everything's great. Let's go in here. Really quick, I'm just gonna go into my post and actually fix that because it's kind of annoying. Let's do a quick edit and just remove that spacing. Here we go. Okay. So now let's work on the header. So what we can do now is go into your page, go into your settings, go into your page layout, and go into Elementor full width. Now we are going to be using Elementor Pro to create our header and footer, but if you don't have the Pro version, you can go ahead and watch. I do have some videos I show you how to create a header for free. You actually just have to use a different plugin that allows you to do that. I'll link it down in the description, hopefully, or I'll try to pop it up somewhere above here if I remember. But if I don't remember, just remind me in the comments and I'll definitely go ahead and do that. But I assume a lot of you guys have Elementor Pro. So now let's go into the dashboard here. And I'm going to exit out of this one, and let's go into templates, theme builder. And let's add our header. Just click on your header here. There we go. I'm going to be using any of their templates, but I do want to build this within my page. So I'm just going to add something quick, and then I'm going to go and edit it within my page, and you'll kind of see what I mean right now. So So we're doing it this way. So we're going to have to add a column with, a section with 2 columns. And then just shift this over here. Now, if I had containers, this would be a lot easier. I haven't set my site logo, but I'm going to set it right now, actually. I'm going to set that there. I haven't set up my navigation either, so that's another thing we're going to need to do right now. So Nav Menu. And then where is my button? Oh, sorry. Let me go to my elements and grab my button here. And I think our button text is called Get Proposal. So we'll shift that there. Now feel free to make this text a little more bold. Just because I feel like it might need to be a little more bold. It's not that readable, to be honest, and that's not good for a UI standpoint. So we might just want to do, yeah, let's do 400 instead. I might shift those. So I know this is set to 300 by default. So let me see if I can go into site settings and go into buttons. And oh, I think it's gonna be the other one. Global fonts, accent, and let's set that to 400 instead. Go back here. And let me update this here really quick. Go into accent. There we go. So let's click publish. Add this to my entire site. That's fine. Now we're gonna adjust this right now. Don't worry. We're just gonna have to do some dynamic stuff here. So let's change the name this. Just call this header. It doesn't really need to be called Elementor header, but call this main header. Click update. And first we're gonna add our the other logo. And let's go into customizer. Identity. Do the logo. This one here. Whoa, doesn't want to. There we go. There's been error cropping this image. Skip cropping. How about that? There we go. So that worked perfectly. Click publish. And we'll adjust the sizing on that later on. Don't worry. Let's go ahead and go into the menu. And let's call this main nav for navigation. Call this, make sure you set to the header. And we are going to be adding just some fake links, you can call them, dummy links. So the first one is going to be case study. It's the other way around, actually. Case study. Add a pound sign there, and we're going to add that right in. About pound signed. Services. Pound sign. Blog here. Don't ask me why I just pasted blog instead of typing it in, but I'm doing it basically for everything. All right. There we go. Case study. It's all in the right order. Perfect. Click save. Saved. Let's go in here. Now what we actually want to do is instead of going to here and go to main header, we actually want to edit the entire page. So just edit your main home page or the template or the design that we're working on. And then up here, go to edit header. Now the reason why I like to do this is because now we get to see our design, our page design with our header, which is great. And since we're gonna make it transparent, we're gonna have to do that, right? So let's make some adjustments here. First make our logo full width here. And now let's adjust our font, nav menu. So let's go in here. We don't need it to be underlined, so let's remove that. Horizontal is fine. Make sure it's set to full width for the breakpoint. For the mobile, the breakpoint is going to be tablet, and then your full width is going to be set to yes and checked on. And then from here, let's adjust our font here. So we can do secondary, which is not going to work. Text. Actually, text might work. Text is very close to it. Let's try 600. And let's maybe adjust that here and do about 17. See how that works? It's between, it's actually supposed to be 500, but from what I'm seeing on the design standpoint here. So let's click on our nav menu and then go into advanced because you're already there already anyway. And then go into width and set this to inline. Perfect. Now go into your button and let's also set the width to inline. There we go. Set it to the center. And also set this one to the center if it's not already aligned anyway. And now go into your column and set this, the horizontal alignment, set it to the end. There we go. Now we can add some spacing to this from our button. So we can do, I know the design has more spacing than it should from the nav menu to the button. We're not going to add that much just because I feel like it doesn't need that much spacing, but feel free to do that. Feel free to even center this if you guys wanted to realistically have this. I usually like to have mine like this. This is just, I feel like it's a proper way to do it. But if you guys, let me align this one actually to the center here, to the middle. And just make sure everything's aligned to the middle actually. I mean, if we really wanted to, guys, you could just pop this one over here. You know what? Let me just duplicate this just so that I'm not doing that. So we could do is move this one. It's very simple to do that. Just showing you in case you wanted to. Go to your logo and then set this to inline again. And then make sure this one is set to the top, like the very one at the top. There you go. And then now go into your column. And then I'm sure you know what I'm going to go with. Go into your horizontal alignment and set this to space between. And there we go. So that's how we could do it. I'm not going to lie. That looks pretty good too. But I'm not going to have it that way. But it's more of, I guess, preference. But I feel like this is how it's supposed to. This is more standard, right? The logo is always on the left, more towards the left, and everything else is on the right. So this is how I'm going to do it. So now we just need to bring it down to our section here. So let's click on my section and go to advanced. And then what I usually like to do is I just do it from the margin and I just add a negative. Let's do it from the bottom. And it's always the easiest thing to do. Let's make sure that there's no background to this. Wait, did I even bring this down by white? Okay, there we go. So just bring this down pretty much to where you see that you don't see that white anymore at the top. And we can even test this out. There we go. Usually how I do it, it's a very simple way doing it. And there you have it. Now, if you want to make this into a sticky header, I would do that. But currently, Elementor feature doesn't allow you to have a color whenever you see if I scroll, I don't have a color anymore. So I do have a video that shows you how to add a color whenever it scrolls. It adds a color to the background of the header section whenever you scroll. I'll try to have that video, I guess, linked up somewhere on top of here. And you guys can check that out and create that sticky header effect. But you guys may already know how to do that, so it's not really that much of a problem. So now, I think I saved this already. It's looking great. Now, before I go ahead and go build the footer, I'm actually going to mobile optimize this really quick. Just because I don't want to go back to the header. And I know that everything else is not going to be mobile optimized. Don't worry about this. We're going to do this right now. We're going to tablet optimize it and do everything that we need to do. So something I like to do is whenever I'm working on this, wait, am I on here? Yeah. I like to change the order of these, right? I don't know what's going on. Why can't I not select those? Acting very, very strange. Yeah, it's not letting me select any of this. So you know what we're going to do? Whenever it glitches out, we just use our navigator and that will fix everything. So let's go in here. And we want to actually have our hamburger icon on the right side, all the way at the end. Here, make sure you're on the advanced settings, go into custom, and then we're just gonna add a media query so then we can do that. So we're gonna do an @ sign and then media, and then do some brackets there. And then we're gonna do max width. basically the width that we want this to work. Max width is going to be, let's see the sizes for this. It's going to be 1024. And we're going to do 1024 pixels. And some curly brackets. So we need to add a selector. So type in selector and then curly brackets. And then type in order. Type in, yeah, there you go. Type in 1 after that. Perfect. Just copy this code here and it's going to work perfectly. And then now, working good. So we just need to add some spacing to this. So this will work on mobile as well. It's all set up, right? So on mobile, it's on this, and it's on the right side. I don't know why Elementor hasn't added that feature yet, or we can do that, the order. They used to have it, or it was on a different plugin, I believe. I don't know. So let's go back into tablet here. And let's just add some padding on the left side. We can do probably about 20. All right. And now let's adjust our toggle button here. So we're going to remove the background here. And we're just going to leave that. We're going to probably adjust the sizing of this a little bit. There we go. Something like that. Do it about 28. That's good. We can't click on this right now. It's glitching out. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's fine. The button size is not bad. We can leave it as is. It's going to be fine. Except on mobile, we may need to switch it. The logo is looking good. It's actually at a good size too. We don't need to adjust that for desktop. But I do need to add some spacing to this. So let's click on our main section for a header. And this is going to be whenever this is more for responsive purposes. So we need to add that spacing. So now whenever we shrink this, it shrinks. We'll still have that spacing at the edge there. You'll see what I'm talking about right now. So let's shrink that down. Let's go back to our logo and let's try to make this section a little bit larger. So let's do maybe 20, and then we'll do 80 on this one. There we go. So now that's working great. So let's go ahead and click update. Seems like there's a little more spacing on this one. So we may need to bring it back a bit. Let's see, from the left side, and we might do a negative just to bring it a little bit. There we go. All right, so let's do update. It seems that the spacing, we may need to also add some spacing from the top and bottom, from what I'm seeing. So seems like it's already good. I mean, this one already does it for us. We can actually adjust this, what is it, vertical alignment, and we can just give it some spacing here. But you'll see whenever we head to tablet, it's not going to have that, so we'll have to add it within the section, and we'll have to maybe add it. Oops, yeah, let's definitely not adjust that. So make sure you set that to back to default. Just click on EM, and it'll probably set it back to default. And then so this is 20, still set to 20. Or you know what? I feel like it's too much. Let's do 15 instead. And then let's do maybe 10 from the top and 10 from the bottom, and hopefully that doesn't. Yeah, so you see how now we need to adjust that. So let's bring this from 5 to the top and 5 to the bottom. Now, if you do have that white spacing, just go ahead and do this and then just adjust this again. Oops. To bottom. And you can just bring that to where you would want. So don't worry about that. We'll leave it like that. That's fine. That works anyway. And now let's go to mobile and let's make sure this works. Now, I wouldn't recommend having a button on mobile just because it's really hard to squeeze that in there. But we'll see what we can do. On each side, we'll do maybe 5. And we're gonna have to at least set this up to 30, maybe 35. And then let's go to this column here and let's set this to 75 to fit that right in. Let's see, we did 30. We did 30. Oh wait, we did 35, so it's gonna be 65. All right. So now we are having some issues with the image, but we'll adjust that later on. So I mean, I could try to fit this in, guys, just by making everything so much smaller. I mean, it is doable, not gonna lie, but it's up to you if you want to have it. I'm gonna try to include it in here just for you guys, you know. We're gonna remove that spacing that it has, right? That's why it's not fitting properly. So we can do that. It's pretty damn. Yeah, it's like doesn't have that much spacing as you can see. So on the bottom, I'm gonna probably do 12 just because I think that's a little bit. Oh wait, let's do 15 there and 12 from the top and bottom. All right, so that can work. I mean, it can. It's up to you. We'll leave it. We'll make it all work. And then the spacing here, we'll do 10 instead of 20. And let's click update. And let's see how everything works. Let's inspect this, shrink it down. Bam, bam. Works perfectly. Shrinks a little more, shrinks a little more. And there we go. So it all works perfectly. It's fine. It works. And you know what I'm noticing is that the button isn't working. And I think I know why. It's because we got to set up our Z index. So click on your section. And hopefully this works. Go to your section and then set your Z index to 10 on here. I think that's why it wasn't working. I really hope that's why it wasn't working. It's not a bug. Yeah, so that was the issue. There we go. So yeah, make sure you set your Z index for your section, set that to 10. Or set it to 99. I mean, if you're gonna have other things that are gonna have a higher Z index, then set that to 99. Okay. So now let's go in here and go and open this up and let's adjust our dropdown. So the text should probably be a little bit smaller, to be honest. Come on. Show this here. How am I supposed to adjust that if I can't see? All right, so let's do 14 or 15. 14. And the horizontal, or let's just bring that down a little bit, line that maybe to the logo, and then let's adjust the spacing here. And we have this little hover effect. Let's switch the color background to this one here. There we go. That works for me. Hopefully it works for you as well. Yeah. Okay. Click update. And the last thing we need to do before we start our mobile version is create our footer. Oh, you see how we have that white spot, or that white spacing right there? Let's fix that. Do a little more. And now let's go into the dashboard and let's create our footer. So go into your templates, go into theme builder. Click on add new, click on footer. Remove this. I don't know why we have this title there, but kind of annoying. Okay, so let's build this out. Let's build our section. Actually, build our section with 4 columns. And let's grab our color. I'm actually gonna add this as a global because we haven't used this color for some reason. Have we? Actually, no. Yeah, maybe we have. Let me see here. Yeah, I think it's. No, we haven't. So let's add this color in. It's 030720, and we're gonna save it as a global. I'm not gonna name this one honestly. I'm just gonna save it. And add our logo. So our logo. Don't know why it doesn't get set to the full width, but okay. So we're gonna need to change our logo. Let me go ahead and grab that and export this logo, to be honest. Okay, so now let's go into our dashboard here. I do need to upload this logo. Media. Grab it from our desktop here. There we go. Click publish on this. Have it on the entire site. And let's refresh this page here. Okay. So let's add some spacing to this first. Go into your section. We're gonna do 80 from the top. That's what we've been doing. Let's remove each side. Actually, each side we'll set it to 20 just because we're gonna need that for responsive reasons. So now we can add our logo. But you know what? We need to actually change that because it's going to be a different one. So let's do an image with your logo. Go. And one thing to always do is you always want to just link the home page to your logos. So just make sure you do that. And let's set this to the full width. There we go. Set it to the left side. Perfect. Grab some text here. Put that right in. Change that around. Text doesn't really matter. You can just leave that lorem ipsum text, guys. So, and then we can stretch this out a little bit, just a tiny bit, that bit like this. And then we'll add our headlines here for each column. Now this is huge, so we're gonna need to adjust this. Probably gonna end up being this one anyway. But we're gonna need to change the style of that. So, and we're gonna change it to this color. And it's all gonna be caps for these. And we're gonna do more boldish colors, so we're gonna do about 700 for that. And I think that works great. So grab our navigation menu here and set this to vertical. Set this to text. We can set it to the text. Doesn't really matter. Change that right now anyway. So our vertical, we'll have to adjust that there. That's fine. Our horizontal, we don't really need any spacing on that, so leave it as is. See here. I mean, that works anyway. It's more noticeable. So we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna remove all these default settings. So we're gonna do none. We're not gonna have a breakpoint, so there's not gonna be a hamburger menu to this. We don't need that. And there we go. So that's set up there. Now we could add more links to this. I know that on the design there's careers and whatnot, but I'm just going to use this. You can honestly just use text as well. I usually, whenever I'm going to add a bunch more different links, I usually just use a list. Anyway, we're going to use this right now, the icon list. So just use it in here. I don't need an icon for any of these, so we're actually going to do this, but we'll adjust this right now anyway. So let's work on this column first. So on the top here, let's remove. Let's do margin. Let's remove some spacing here so we can bring this to the top here, I should say. So keep that about 10. And then we're gonna do that for the bottom. There we go. And let's just copy this here. Grab our services. And I just removed our list, didn't I? Grab our list here. Let's make sure we add that right in there. Sorry about that in case you guys had to remove that. And let's just grab some of the text. I'm only gonna do one for now, and then I'll just adjust this. So I'm gonna leave this at white. And that seems to be fine. I mean, is it the same as this one? It really seems like it is. Find out here. It's 15 and I think 15 as well, right? Yep, 15. That's perfect. That actually works for it. We're gonna add some more spacing to this, don't worry. Now that the design doesn't reflect that, so We're gonna have to bring this down a little bit. That's why I would rather use containers. Whenever containers comes out, I think this will be a lot easier because the whole spacing thing is not the best. So let's go back to our list and let's just duplicate this a bunch of times, and I'm just gonna copy the things that we have here. So these are supposed to be links, and these are supposed to link out to other pages, but we're not gonna do this. Even though, I mean, you probably might not even offer these services. They're just dummy text, so you guys can remove it if you guys want to. The line height on this, so we definitely need to adjust the line height on this to reflect more of this menu here. So let's just go in here and adjust line height. Oops. Now these are more custom, as you can see, because these are a little bit different from the other ones. All right, so let's duplicate this. Oops. We don't need it. We just need to duplicate this one. We'll adjust the spacing to this right now. And then let's grab the list here again, because we're gonna have to put some contact information. And it looks like we have to adjust the text spacing right there. So we're gonna do contact. Let's actually adjust some of the spacing on the services. Go into the padding top and do negative and try to get it at least aligned to how the other one is. Something similar. Doesn't have to be perfect right now. At least so it lines up properly. And then for these, we're definitely gonna have to change the color to this one, and then choose a circle. Should be the one here. And we're gonna make the text white. I'm actually gonna copy the style here. Don't mind that. I know that I ended up messing that up, but there we go. So now we're just gonna add some basic contact information, the phone number, whatnot. Now, of course, you can use actual icons like the phone icon or whatever, and the envelope icon, but I'm not gonna do that. It's not really necessary, and that's just how the design is. So I'm pretty sure it's not intended to be like that, but it is. So you can use those icons instead. I'm just gonna use these bubbles. Fine. All right. Now that's working good, and then we're just gonna get our social icons here. Social icons. These are gonna be orange, and they're gonna be more custom. They're definitely gonna have to be circle. And I believe it's this one, yes. Okay. Then just the sizing. Just the sizing, set this to the left side here. There we go. So you guys can add more icons to that. I'm gonna leave it as is. I feel like that's fine. Check how this looks. So the spacing, we can maybe make it a little bit closer. There we go. And now we just need to adjust this spacing properly. So I'm gonna do about 25 for each. I think that'll be fine, and then the rest will be set for the other one. So we'll do 25. And then, you know what? No, it's definitely not going to be it. So let's do 20 for each. Will that work? No, that won't. You know what? That's why I don't like this part here, because you basically just need to line it up as best you can. Trust me, if we had containers, it would be a lot easier. I could easily just set these up to a specific width and then just do space something, space between, or space end. It would be a lot easier, but we're not going to do it that way. We're just going to have to align it properly, the way that we would want to. Once containers comes out, this is going to be a lot easier to just set that up. Like I said, we're going to move this here and then go into this column. And we'll do padding, actually. From the right side, we'll do maybe like 50 or 80. Yeah, we'll try to do something like that. You see how instead we could have just like, let me bring this. I would like it so then I could just, bring this all the way over here, which would be great, right? Be aligned there. And then this would be more aligned here, and then this you would think could be perfect like this, right? But I don't like that I have to just try to get it so it's close, right? It's not really that great, but We're gonna have to do this for right now. I think that will work. So, all right. So now let's click. Oh no, we still gotta add a bottom section. So let's add another section at the bottom here. This will be pretty quick. I usually like to do this one. Let's do the same color. That we saved earlier. We're gonna have to do text. So grab some text here. This one is for sure gonna be this color and then set to the accent. And then we're gonna have to do inline for this. And it's gonna be, go to your column in here and set this to space between. Sorry if I kind of did that a little fast, but make sure your text is set to inline and the heading, advanced. And then go to your column in here and then go into space between, and then now duplicate this one. So your horizontal should be space between, by the way. What did I do? I think I did this properly. Okay, so now go in here and click. Oh yeah, I put reset style. Put duplicate. There we go. For some reason, we need to remove this. I don't know why it's set like that. Paste that style there. Just remove that margin that we had at the top, and then change this to this right here. I mean, change this to, you know, your website, designed by your company, whatever that may be. But I'm just gonna do this with his website, akhileweb.com. Check that out. He is a designer of this design here that we're creating. So now let's that 30 from the top, let's do 20. Do 20 from the top and 20 from the bottom. And then let's remove the spacing that we have here with this one from the bottom, our main section there. Let's do 50 instead. Let's maybe do 30, so then it's more, yeah, more the same. There we go. Perfect. We have some spacing issues though, from what I'm seeing. Why is this not spacing properly? I did not adjust that. This is all set to default. Oh, okay. It's because I added that. I think I know why. Did I not add the... There we go. And then this thing should have the same thing. Top and the left. Okay, perfect. All right, so now that's working great. Let's mobile optimize this really quick. So you see how we still have that spacing on each side? That's perfect. So this is pretty good, except we probably want to give this some more spacing. So let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit to remove the spacing that we have here. And instead of that, we'll do 30. And then each one here, I think, is set to, let's do 22 and see if we can still get that perfectly in there. Give that spacing of 22, but we can still give it some more spacing from the looks of it. So let's do 23 by 23. Not really doing some math for this, but I mean, you could just, let's see, this one is, I think, 30, and then we have 70 left, so just divide 70 by 3, and then you'll get the right number for each one. So yeah, it's about 23 anyway. That's fine. Not too bad. Okay, so let's leave it as is right now. I think that's good. See how we spread it out and it still works. And then let's maybe... Yeah, you know what? It still works. It works properly. I just don't like... Yeah, I don't like this. So let's just give this some more spacing from the right, to be honest. Maybe do 15, just a little bit, right? So it's not too bad. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, so that works good. Now let's go into mobile here, and this is the easy part. It should be already mostly aligned. So bam, let's just... The spacing at the top should be a little bit different. So 50 from the top, 50 from the bottom. Each side on mobile will do either 15 or 10. We're gonna do 15 because I feel like 15 is better. And then I don't know why. Oh, okay, let's see. There seems to be some spacing issues here. Okay, there we go. So just remove that spacing. So this is fine, the spacing on that, but we'll need to actually add spacing on here. And I think we're going to have to do at least 20 from what I'm seeing, or 10. Let's do 20. Let's also add like maybe 5 to this one or something. And let's do the same to this one. So basically 0 and then 20 from the top. There we go. So now everything looks to be good. And this part right here, let's set it all to the middle. I know that some people like to set it to the left side. You can do that, but we would have to make the text a little bit smaller. But you know what? Let's just set it to the left side just so then everything's aligned properly. It just makes more sense, right? So let's do, what did we do? 15. Sorry, 15 from the left side as well, right? Did we not do 15? Why is this? Or did we do 10? No, it's 15 from the left. Very, very strange now. Let's see here. We might have added some padding to this. There we go. So that's probably why. Let's add it to our section instead. Let's do 50 from the bottom. No, let's do 30. It doesn't have to be that bad. 30. And that should be good. Let's just add some spacing in between these anyway. So just click on any of them and then just add some padding. Let's do 15. And from the looks of it, this one still has some padding on here. Maybe it has. There we go. So that looks pretty good to me. We can actually remove some of the spacing though that we may have here. Instead of 50, let's do 20. And there we have it. A little bit closer together. There we go. So whenever containers come out, I may have a video where like if you adjust this and make it bigger, these sections, these columns here will maybe get populated up and they'll be side by side. But we'll see once a new update comes out. So let's click update and let's just check this out. Oh my god, I don't know what happened to our okay, I don't know why that was glitching out there earlier, but you saw that it was glitching out. Our icons were so it looks fine. Everything looks good. Now we just need to adjust it on mobile here. Let's adjust the entire design on mobile. Click edit with Elementor. And then let's go into the tablet version and let's just correct this really quick here. Okay, so let's make this a little bit smaller. So instead of 45, which we have it at, let's see how 35 looks. So let's do 35. And then go into advanced and let's do go to make sure you click on percentages. Let's do 80 instead. Set that to 80. The button is fine. The buttons are fine. This is fine. Isn't really that bad either. We can just leave it how it is. We could make them smaller later on, but it works pretty good. And then this, we can maybe make it a little bit smaller, but to be honest, it's already looking pretty good. So we might just, let's do 30 just to shrink it a little bit, right? So everything gets a little bit shrinked. And then this part right here. Now this, to be honest, it looks fine to me. So I'm going to leave it how it is. See, because when we expand it, every tablet's different. So it doesn't look that bad. So we're going to leave it. I always just optimize this from the, oops, let me try to bring this. Yeah, I always try to optimize it from the smallest size when it comes to tablet. Because the rest will pretty much fit correctly if the smallest size for tablet works. That's usually kind of a rule of thumb for me, is just adjust it on the smallest size of tablet, and then everything else, when you make it bigger, should be fine. So this part right here, now we have a choice here. We can either make it we can stack them on top of each other, or we can leave it how it is. It's kind of a tough choice, right? But what we could do is click on this and then go into, click on this, go into here, go into motion effects, make it, stick it, And we could stick it just for tablet, right? So whenever it shrinks, it goes like this. I might just do that. I feel like that's better. No one's gonna notice that anyway. So let's do that. Let's just remove this, remove that, and stay in column. Very important that you stay in column because it's gonna affect your website if you don't. So click on your image, go to advanced, sticky from the top, and remove tablet. Remove mobile and desktop, and then stay in column. There we go. Now, if you even wanted to give it some spacing whenever it scrolls down, you can, but I don't really do that. You can have an offset of maybe 50. You see that? You can leave that spacing, but I'm going to leave it as is. It's not necessary for me. So it's up to you. It looks kind of cool, but just leave that at 0. Why does it keep going back to that? I think because you can't set it to blank, probably. All right. So now that's all good. Let's adjust the text so then it's pretty much the same as the rest of them. So we got to do 30. And then I think we could just do 30 on this one as well. I know that we could just copy and paste it, but hopefully it doesn't. I don't think we did any adjustments to that on desktop that would have affected it on mobile. Okay, so it looks like everything's fine there. The spacing on this is, I usually like to do 50 on mobile. So 50. 50, and sorry, another thing that I forgot to do, 50 is very important, guys. So, and we did do this with the header and the footer. So go to your main section, click edit, and then add 20 to this. This is super important that we do this. Let's go to this section and then add 20 to this. We may have to adjust this on tablet because the spacing might be 15 instead of 20. We'll see how everything looks. And then we'll kind of go from there. So this is just for responsive purposes, the reason why we're doing this. I always like to do this. And let me show you why, because I don't think I did earlier. Let me just get done adjusting this, and I'll show you why we have to add that spacing on each side for every section whenever you're mobile optimizing. And let's see here, and I'll show you what I mean. So the reason why we need to do this is because whenever we shrink this to a certain size, you see that now we have that spacing still. We still have that spacing, no matter what size we get to, we still have that spacing on each side. So that's why that's very important. So then the content isn't like stuck on the edge there, and it doesn't look that great, right? That's kind of why I like to add that 20 on there, on 20 on each side. It's always very important. So let's go and keep adjusting on tablet here. Make sure everything's great. So looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Good. So let's adjust this one instead of just seeing this. So we can actually reduce the spacing on this. So let's go in here, and instead of that, let's do 100, and let's do 50, right? So that's a lot better. And even we can even adjust this part here, I believe. Yeah, so let's do maybe 30, all right? From there, and that's looking good. That's good. Did I not have a spacing to this? Yeah, so we need to set this up to 20. What if we did 20? Yeah, 20 works. I mean, it's not too bad. Let's just leave it at 20, guys. I know this one's set to 15, but we might need to go back and switch that to 20, but that's fine. We'll leave that for now. So this part here, you can go in here and actually adjust this. And if you guys remember, let's set this to percentage and then 80. If you guys remember, we kind of did that up here. We set it to 80 instead. So do that. This is going to be set to 30 instead of 35, which, you know what we could do instead actually is we could do that on the global version. So then we don't have to go back, right? That's the whole point of this. So let's go into global fonts, and I wonder if we could do, yeah, we can. So for, I think it was our primary, right? Yeah, it was 30. Make sure that's set to 30. So now let's go back, and it's not even adjust these because we don't even need to. We can just go back and actually remove this part here, and it should be set to 30 by default. Let's just actually switch this to secondary. Oops, primary, right? Yeah, primary. And you notice that if I switch it to primary, yeah, it should be set to 30 by default. So I don't have to do that every time. Oops, primary. Gotta make sure I set that to primary. All right, and this one should be set to primary. Perfect. Everything's good. The button's fine. These are already all adjusted for me, so I don't really need to do that anymore. This is great. I just need to adjust the spacing on this if I didn't. So instead of that, we're gonna do 50, 20 on each side. Oops, 20. $50 from the top, 50 from the bottom, and then 20, 20 on each side. I don't think that's bad. Let's just do that. So 20, 20, 20, 20, 50, 50. There we go. So this looks good. This looks fine to me, honestly. We don't need to make that much adjustments. This is looking great too. This is a little bit smaller, but it's fine. It still works. This is a part that we maybe need to adjust a little bit. I know that it's supposed to move to 30, but I think it looks great. We just need to maybe give this more spacing and have this be a smaller column. So maybe we can do 30. Or let's just make sure that the button fits. So let's do 35, and the rest will be given to this one, which I believe is 65 actually instead. There we go. So that's better. Okay, so that looks good. And then let's go ahead and go to mobile. And this is probably the most interesting part because this is where we're going to get most of our users, to be honest. Even though we spent a lot of time on the desktop, but this is just how it works with Elementor, is we focus on the desktop first and then we just build it down to the mobile version. It's kind of reversed whenever you're doing web development. And you're actually coding this from scratch. You actually start from the mobile version now, but yeah, let's just adjust this. So let's set this up to, this one is a custom one. So with the other ones, we can probably set it up globally. So this one, maybe let's do 30. 30 or 25. Because see, we're gonna have to set this one to 25 or 30. It just looks way too big to be honest when it comes to mobile. So we're gonna do this 25, and I'm probably just gonna go back and set this to primary anyway, and I'll just adjust it on the global. Let's do that now. Side settings, global. So we're already on mobile, so we don't really need to touch anything anymore or see that. And then now we just go in here and set this to 25. Update. Everything's already updated for us. So now we go in here. This one's a little more custom, like I said. So we will probably just do 25 as well. I think that looks great. Not that large. And then here, maybe we could set this to 100% now. Or we can still set it to maybe 90. Not really where we want it. Yeah, let's set it to 90 instead. The spacing is great on this. Fine. Let me know about the spacing on the top. Maybe we need to, you know what? I don't know. No, I feel like the spacing is fine. Just leave that how it is right now. This definitely needs to be adjusted. So let's do 20, or yeah, we don't need that much spacing on this. So 15 is fine. And 50 from the top and 50 from the bottom is fine, except for I think this one is 100 and then 50. But that works great. Yeah, that looks great anyway. So that works for me. 50, or this one's still set to 80 for some reason. Let's make sure we check the tablet version, because it should be actually set to 50. So yeah, it is. Let's do 20, 20, 50, 50. Go back to mobile version here. There we go. That's looking good. This is good. We need to add some spacing to these in between. So I'm just going to add it from this one. I'm only going to add it to this one. So let's do, so we saw that it was 10 from the left and 10 from the right. We don't really even need this anymore, to be honest. None of those really need that. So we can remove that. That's not necessary anymore. That was more for the desktop and tablet version. So now we can do 20 from the top and then 20 from the bottom, and that will give it that spacing that we need, right? So that's great. The font is fine. I don't think we need to adjust this. Maybe we can make this font a little bit smaller. But which font is this one? This one is set to, I wish you could see which one it's already set to. Doesn't it say? It's 2020. I think it's a secondary, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Oh wait, I think this one was a custom one. This might have been a custom one. So let's just adjust this. We can maybe do 18. It's already kind of good, guys. We don't really need to do that, but let's set it to 16. I mean, that doesn't hurt. Just do set it to 16. And then maybe we can paste this, make this a little bit smaller actually as well. While we're here, we can maybe do 13 on this one. A little smaller doesn't work, works for me, but it's because when you're on your phone, things are a little bit bigger anyway. So you got to keep that, you know, you got to add that to account. So let's do 12 instead. And if this doesn't look that great on mobile, guys, if the text is too small, then just adjust it. Just my preference on how I like to do things sometimes. I know that what comes with phones, a lot of things are just getting smaller when you're on your phone now, so seems to be fine. And then even this text here, we can adjust this. I know that this one for sure is a text, so let's go into site settings. And we can adjust this one. Definitely will be the text. And I know this will be set to 15 by default, so we can maybe adjust this to 13. If it's not already, let me see how that's looking, see how, okay. So that's 13. Let's do 13. 13 will be fine. All right, let's click update. Move on. We're gonna make this text a little bit smaller. I believe it will still look great on your phone, but if not, then you guys can make those adjustments just in case. But I like to do it like this. All right, so this definitely needs to be a little bit smaller, or at least set to the center. So we might just have this set to the center instead and leave it as this. I just don't like when it does this. So sometimes I just tend to just adjust these a little bit more just to make them fit, to be honest. I know, you know what? Actually, I think it's a spacing issue. So we can go in here, and I wish we could only do this for mobile, but we can't. So can we do that? No gap? No. You know what? We're just gonna have to make this a little bit smaller, or we're gonna have to go into this section and let's do 15 instead. I know that we've been doing 20, but for these, let's actually do 10. Let's do 10. 10 will be better for these, for mobile. Let's do 10 on each side. And let's give it a 50, 50, 50 from the top and bottom. And we'll work with that. Let's go back in here and give these a 10 instead. I know that they're 50, 50, but and I know that it can get a little bit annoying to do this, but simple adjustments make a big difference. So this is fine. I'm going to leave that section as is. These sections will be set up a little bit different. Just because, like I said, when it's our main section, it can be a little bit different. So what we need to do is actually flip this. So let's go in here. And let's go into advanced responsiveness, and let's go to tablet and flip this around. See how much better this is? You know, we give the title a picture. That's always great. You want to give the title a picture so it gives them a visual idea of what's going on. So 10, 10, 50, fine. Everything seems to be good. And then let's just, no, we can't paste that same style. So we're going to do here, go over here, and then responsive and flip this around. Oops, this one was already set up properly, sorry. So let's go into this column, the second column here. and let's remove that spacing there. I like that there's spacing here. We will need to adjust, let's adjust this text actually, make that a little bit smaller. Let's do 15. I think 15 will be great. Let's set that to 15. This one already is set by default. I'm gonna leave it as is for now. I don't know why the text is doing this. What's going on here? So we can set this to the side. Let's still set this to the left side anyway. Add some spacing to this actually, and let's do from the top maybe 20, so we can give this some level of spacing, right? This image here, let's make sure that the image is set to full width. There we go. And let's go in here, do the same thing. Make sure it's set to full width, because I know I was shrinking some images. The spacing is fine on those, guys. It's not really that bad. And let's add 20 here. Sorry, 20 from the top for this one. Oops, let's make sure we set that to pixels. Okay, so I think that's good there. The text is a little bit small. We're gonna have to adjust that. I don't like how small the text is. It's way too small. Oh, okay, this is the glitch we were going through. I don't know why it's doing that, guys. It has no reason to do that. It's glitching out like that. We're gonna have to fix that later on. Not something I want to get into right now. So let's set this. Seems like that's good. I guess there's already a spacing from that. And then yeah, click on that column, go to responsiveness, and let's flip this again. Oh, it's a section. Click on your intersection, go to advanced, and then responsive, and let's flip this. There we go. And let's do 20 from the top, just like how we've been doing. Make sure it's set to pixels. I keep messing that up. Make sure the image is set to full width, because we did adjust that earlier. There we go. And then let's fix this. Remove the padding that we added on here. I think it was this one. Or nope, it was set on here. There we go. Here we go. What do I need to do next? I think that's, oh yeah, I was gonna adjust the global site settings there. Go to your global font, and we're gonna adjust this text here because I feel like it is a little bit too small. So we may just have to go back to 15, to be honest. And it looks like, is that getting adjusted? Is this one getting adjusted? Let's just, okay, it is. Yeah, I thought it was. Is it though? Yes, it is. All right. Okay, so now it seems to be working, and the font, I guess, got fixed anyway, so it's cool. All right, so let's update this. And go in here. Just this one. Do the same thing. We're gonna do 50 from the top, 50 from the bottom, and on each side. This one we're gonna set it a little more. Do about, we can do 100. Honestly, it's not really that bad. Do 100, and that's good there. Bun's fine. So you guys can adjust the bun, but I'm gonna leave it as is. I feel like the bun is not really is I feel like the bun is not bad, so we're gonna leave it like that. Now let's adjust this section. Do the same thing. Oops, to 0. Do from the top 50, bottom 50, 10, and 10 on each side. And then these we for sure need to adjust. This is already set up because we did adjust that earlier. 25. Let's definitely adjust the text on these for sure. Just a little bit, honestly, just maybe 17. And then that spacing at the top is a little bit too much. So let's just remove that. There we go. That's good. Just this one. This one's already set to 50, and then so we got to do 50 and 10 instead of 20. That's the only thing. It was already pretty good, actually, to be honest. 1010. This we can adjust a little bit. Go in here, go to the content and the title, and we can maybe make that 17 like we did with the other one. Is this adjusting? What is this adjusting? Did I might? Yes, I am adjusting the right thing, right? That's strange why it's not adjusting the title, guys. I don't know why it's not doing that, but there's another glitch. We'll leave it as is. It looks fine to me, so none of this really needs to get adjusted. If anything, just switch that to 17. Hopefully it works for you. You're not having that issue. So let's adjust this one here. Same thing, 50-50 on each side. 10 and 10. Or sorry, 50-50 top bottom, 10-10 on each side. Put that backwards. So this part here, we're not gonna give it that much padding. We're gonna bring down the padding a little bit. And we're gonna maybe do about 25, and then we're gonna adjust this here. Clearly that needs to be adjusted because it's kind of all over the place. No, it's actually, you know what? Let's just bring that a little bit over here, and that's good. Some spacing from the bottom though. Probably need to bring it up a little bit. There we go, and maybe even from the top, just because. Okay, so that's working good. We may need to just shrink this a little bit. Doesn't need to be that big, and the text should be fine. So now let's bring this down here, paste this style. Oh, we need to remove. We need to remove this. There we go. Bam. Bam. Need to add that spacing in between those two columns. Do that right now. So add it to the bottom one, and then let's do 20. There we go. And then how about this? Let's see. Yeah, we're definitely not 50. Let's do 50. Let's remove this spacing here. We're definitely gonna have to adjust that. Oops. Maybe do 20 on each side. It's fine. Yep, 20 or 15. It actually sounds better. We're gonna adjust this because it's more of a custom size here. Maybe to 25. Set this to the middle, of course. There you go. That looks pretty good to me. It's looking good too. Let's review everything, and then we'll wrap this video up. What a long video, guys. I have not done a video like this. I don't think I've ever done a video this long, to be honest. It's probably gonna be like 3 hours long, but this is exactly what I've been wanting to release for you guys, you know? Because I've been seeing so many people have issues with aligning stuff and, you know, design and everything, and just how to really build a website on Elementor. It can be really simple. Like, it doesn't have to be hard to build a website on Elementor. It is just, at least for me, it's really easy. So once you guys just learn the right fundamentals and everything, and how to space things out and align things, just can be super easy and actually really fun. So that's great. So now we got it on desktop, and desktop looks great even on this size. And it's gonna look great for all the screens if you followed along, hopefully. And if you guys do have any questions, just comment down below and I'll try to help you out, especially for this one because this is really something. So let's leave it at this size. This is tablet right here. So this looks great. It's good. It shrinks with that, shrinks with that. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. Shrink it down. This will be mobile version. And look how great this is looking. Man, this might even look better than my website that I have, my Vlux Designs website, because this design came out super clean, really nice. I hope you guys actually use it for your agency, because wow, it is a good one. So it looks great. If you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll try to help you guys out. I know I didn't create the other pages, but honestly, just with the design of the home page, you can go ahead and just create the other ones using the same style. That's usually what we do. We just design the home page and then we just kind of copy the style to the rest of the pages. So I'm sure you guys can figure that out. Shouldn't be too hard there. Now, this video did take me like almost 3 hours, so please like the video. It only takes you a sec, especially if you followed along this far. I mean, you definitely want to like this video. Definitely took a lot of work, so yeah, please like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos that I upload, just like this one. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.